Hello and welcome to this edition of UCentral News. I'm Jackson Rowbottom.
And I'm Patrick Talbot, and with severe weather potentially on the way, we're going to go ahead and toss it over to CJ to open up the show to tell us what we need to know about tonight into tomorrow. CJ, what do you got for us?
That's right, Patrick. We definitely do have a very good chance of severe storms going into tomorrow. However, for tonight, it's going to be pretty nice here in Edmond, actually. Sitting here at about 68 degrees under overcast conditions. Now, the winds are blowing at east at about 15 miles per hour, but we could see some gusts of about 25 to 30 with those winds as well. The humidity, too, is sitting at 55%, so not too humid. However, we are going to see that rapidly spike up as we go into this evening. And here in Edmond, feeling like it is 72 outside. So overall, a very warm day, a little cloudy outside, but overall pretty warm and nice outside. Let's go ahead and take a look at this graph right here. I want to show you guys, this is what we're going to see for tomorrow's severe weather. And as you can see, starting here from South Texas all the way up into Iowa, that is going to be a very enhanced risk for severe storms. That's where we're going to see that dry line hit with the humidity, and the conditions are going to be pretty good for severe storms to form with that. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on those storms going into tomorrow. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather headlines coming up for this week. This evening, we do have a very big fire risk with those winds and dry air that are sticking around. So the risk for wildfires is going to stick around as well. And going into tomorrow, we do have an enhanced risk for severe storms. Those storms could produce tornadoes, damaging winds, and up to tennis ball size hail. So we will definitely be keeping a close eye on that here at UCentral. And then going into the next week, we are going to see the temperatures start to steadily rise up into the 80s and low 70s as well. So it's definitely going to start feeling a lot more like spring here in Oklahoma. Guys, that's all I have for weather right now. I'm going to toss it back to Patrick and Jackson.
Thanks, CJ. And this just in, the Board of Regents just released an official statement regarding the current protest moments ago. The statement was in response to the UCO budget planning process. The Regents stand in solidarity with President Nuhold Ravi-Kumar, saying her and her team are working to find stability.
And UCO will continue to see student-led protesters organizing events throughout this week. And this follows last week's series of protests regarding the budget crisis on campus. Today, students protested by writing their grievances in chalk along the sidewalks.
And UCentral's Shannon Schwal was on the scene for an update on all the protesting events to follow this week. Here's what he found.
If you've been walking around campus today, chances are you might have come across these flyers that I have right here. Following the RIP UCO 40 protests from last week, the organizers have hosted more events all week to spread awareness and show students' dissatisfactions for the actions of the current administration. For the entire day today, students can grab some chalk and write their grievances on pavement throughout campus. On Tuesday, get dressed in teal to promote awareness for sexual assault. On Wednesday, 12 to 1, students will gather at the clock tower and march to Old North. Thursday will be Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day. So bring some gifts and letters to show your appreciation to all faculty and staff. And lastly, on Friday, students will be ringing the graduation bell for all the faculty that were affected. Reporting from the campus of UCO, I'm Shannon Chua, UCentral News.
Thank you, Shannon. And many international students have a lot to say with the recent events here at UCO. UCentral's Joseph Morales talked to students about the financial situation. Take a look.
International students at UCO pay more than $10,000 in tuition every semester. With the recent cases of non-transparent leadership from UCO officials, budget mismanagement, and increased tuition for UCO students, we talked to some of them, and this is what they had to say.
I have been hearing, I have been reading about that there is going to be an increase in the tuition of international students. I definitely don't think that it's the best thing for us.
This is something that's affected the global economy, and this is not something that's restricted to our university. This is something that's happening on a global scale. So in terms of the tuition hikes, honestly, I feel for the president because she's in a tough spot.
Right now, we are on the post-COVID time, and even COVID is rising, we don't know, so pretty much it is affecting everyone, so I don't think that's a good idea. even for the Americans as well as the international students.
From an international student perspective, UCO's administration should consider a better way to handle the crisis. In Edmond, Joseph Morales, UCentral News.
And all of the information you need to know can be found right here in these flyers.
That's right, and several of these were distributed all over campus today. And the flyer includes a list of student-led events leading up to Friday. It even includes the contact information for the RIP UCO 40 protest group.
And now for an update on the situation in Ukraine. Ukraine's president says the country is, quote, ready for a major Russian offensive east of the country as he accused Moscow of lying to deflect the blame for war. Russia has appointed a new general to direct war efforts after troops failed to take Kyiv. 9 evacuation corridors planned to use Sunday as the death toll rose from a Russian missile strike last week on a train station packed with refugees.
And the UCO Department of Political Science will be hosting a panel discussion about the appointment of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. The panel begins tonight at 7 p.m. and you can attend either in person to the Liberal Arts Building's lecture hall or via Zoom. Don't miss out on the important information discussion.
And beginning Wednesday, a section of Sooner Road will be closed for construction. This project will be installing a larger interceptor to be able to process sewage water for the area. Motorists are encouraged to find an alternative route around Sooner Road between Coffee Creek Road and Covell Road. Construction will last about a week depending on the weather.
And the International House hosted a unique event at the Quad this past week, but the IH is concerned that not enough attention is being paid to event awareness. I went down to the International House to talk with one of their members, Aya Iwamoto, to learn more.
With a new month of April comes a new wave of events on campus, including recently the Japanese cooking event at the Quad by the International House.
It was Japanese food, like a learning event, and then we had a chopstick challenge to learn how to hold the chopsticks, and then after that we made like a onigiri and a miso soup and then tamago yaki. It's a egg roll, like an omelet, Japanese omelet.
Learning about making and appreciating the food was all well and good, but it wasn't the only thing on the International House's mind.
Wants to share like Japanese food and then like give like Japanese food lecture, how to eat healthy.
The event saw over 60 attendees come to the event, but still, they can't help but feel like the university could be doing more to attract people to events.
Social media is very important and powerful, but at the same time, like I feel like by people to people, like tell and invite individually.
Only time will tell if the university plans to improve their marketing and advertising of events on their campus. But in the meantime, students are encouraged to check their emails for more events on campus. From the University of Central Oklahoma, I'm Jackson Rowbottom, UCentral News.
And when we come back, we're going to take a look at more detailed report on the weather with CJ. Don't go anywhere.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
In the land of wonder and awe, you won't believe you see what you saw. Where there's something to do for young and for old, where stories are written and then they're retold. Visit travelok.com today. Come see for yourself and come out to play.
And welcome back to the UCentral News. UCO Project Speak invites the Central community to discuss interpersonal violence awareness. It's on us, a movement spreading awareness about campus sexual assault. This event will occur via Facebook Live and Zoom on Tuesday, April 19th. You can attend at 10 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m. that day.
And with severe weather on the horizon, UCentral's Andrea Zuniga has some tips for you. Take a look.
Being located in the center of Oklahoma, it's no surprise that UCO has plans for multiple weather threats in the area. In this season's severe weather threat is spring.
I have the little booklets in the classrooms, the red ones that have like the different plans and everything. And you can take your animals into a lot of the shelters on campus.
If there is a threat of severe weather, UCO will send out alerts to everyone at the school and will be directed to their closest storm shelter.
It's important that they keep up with the spaces, like if they don't get used a lot, to make sure that the basements haven't flooded and things like that.
Every building in the school has its own primary and secondary shelters and basements. And those signed up for the Central Alert on UConnect will get the latest information in the case of an emergency situation. And from Edmond, Oklahoma, I'm Andrea Zuniga.
Thanks, Andrea. And with that severe weather that's coming up, it's going to be good to have a plan if you're on campus. But let's go ahead and toss it over to CJ so he can tell us what more we need to know about tonight into tomorrow. CJ, what do you got for us?
Thank you, Patrick. It's exactly like Andrea said. Springtime here for us in Oklahoma means it is severe weather season. So we are going to see a lot of severe weather coming up in the next couple of weeks. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather headlines coming up for this week, however. A big fire risk for this evening. That dry, warm air plus the wind is going to make the conditions for wildfires very great. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on those. We do have an enhanced risk for severe storms going into tomorrow night, or tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. And with those storms, we could see some tornadoes, some damaging winds, and some hail along with those. We will definitely be keeping an eye out on those storms. And going on later into this week, we will see some warmer temperatures start to emerge as we move further towards the weekend and into next week. Let's go ahead and take a look at current conditions around the state of Oklahoma right here. And as you can see, pretty much most of the same for a majority of the state. As you can see, up in the northeastern part of Oklahoma, that's where we had a couple of storm systems moving through. So that's why you see 62 in Tulsa, 55 in Miami. But for the rest of the part of the state, most of the same. Oklahoma City sitting about 68 degrees, Clinton 72, Guyman 71. So overall, pretty warm out there today. Not too bad for Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's forecast for us here in Edmond. 58 is going to be our low under mostly clear skies. Those winds are going to still keep blowing east at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. But the humidity is the main story here. That humidity is going to spike up rapidly from 55% up to 90%, and is going to remain that way into tomorrow. And that's the reason that we're going to see the risk for severe storms is all of that humidity remaining around here in Oklahoma. However, for tonight, we aren't going to see much of a rain chance, a 0% chance. We could see some scattered, isolated storms, but they should last for only about a minute or two. Let's go ahead and take a look at lows around the state of Oklahoma. And it's pretty much most of the same. Oklahoma City sitting about 59 degrees, same with Lawton. Guyman 54, Idabel in the south sitting about 64. So overall, pretty cool tonight, not too cold. We won't have to worry about any freezes. However, going into tomorrow, that's when we're going to see that dry line. And you can actually see that dry line in western Oklahoma, parts at about Lawton. But you can see that's where the temperatures are going to spike up, 95 being the high in Altus tomorrow. A couple of 90s as well in western Oklahoma. But for the rest of the state, we're going to stick around the 80-degree mark with high humidity as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at our daily forecast coming up for you tomorrow here in Edmond. 7 a.m. for your commute to work. It is going to be a muggy 63 degrees. It's going to be very sticky on your way driving to work or to school. And then going into the afternoon, we are going to see that temperatures start to rise. However, the humidity is going to remain relatively the same. The clouds should clear up a little bit around noon, but they are going to come back in the evening. And in the evening is when we're going to see the greatest chance for the severe storms. Cloudy, 81 degrees at 7 p.m. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on that. And I want to show you guys this chart here of the severe weather risk for the United States. And as you can see here is a very long line of storms that we will be watching tomorrow. It extends all the way down here from central Texas all the way up to Iowa. And right here in the middle is Oklahoma. So we will definitely be getting a lot of that mix. Now, we aren't going to see a lot of storms tomorrow. We do this place right here is just the potential for storms. The conditions will be right for severe weather to be produced in these areas. However, we aren't expecting a lot of rain with these systems moving through. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 7-day forecast. As you can see, going into tomorrow, we only have a 20% chance of rain, but that 20% chance, if we do get a storm that develops, that will most likely develop into a severe storm with the conditions that are met. And then going into next week, as you can see, coming in on Friday, our temperatures are going to rise back up to the 80s and mid 70s. So we will definitely be keeping a close eye on those storms, and we will keep you updated if anything is to develop. For right now, I'm going to toss it back to the desk.
Thank you very much, CJ. And when we come back from the break, UCO's Tyler Lursch will have more on the central music scene. Don't go anywhere.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hello, and welcome to the Central Music Scene. I'm Tyler Lursch, and I've been a musician for over 10 years, and I'm also involved in the local music scene here in OKC with my own band, Tar Creek. I'll be bringing you all the latest news concerning artists, shows, releases, as well as national music news. Let's go right into it. First for today, Jack White has released his latest album, Fear of the Dawn. The album was released on April 8th and is Jack White's 5th solo album. Each track is different from the last and calls back to different elements of the White Stripes sonically, but also implements some new musical textures that'll pique your interest. I highly recommend giving it a listen, and it's available on all streaming services right now. And second for today, New Baby No Money. He released a single this last Friday titled Mathematics.
Flame suit, French letter, and my girl bad. Gatekeeper says open.
So far, it's gathered over 323,000 views on YouTube, and I would recommend giving it a listen. To me, it feels like the perfect song to put on the drive home. If you'd like to check out the single, it's available on all streaming services right now. And third for today, Isle of Wight indie rockers Wet Leg have released their self-titled album. It was released on April 8th, and their song Chaise Long already has over 13 million listens on Spotify, and is currently at the 9th place on iTunes charts. The album reminds me of a combination of early White Stripes and surf rock. If you'd like to listen to the album, it's available on all streaming services right now. And finally for today, ACM at UCO, otherwise known as the Academy for Contemporary Music, will be holding a special event that's available to both students and the public. Tomorrow on April 12th at 2 p.m., Mark Geiger, the co-creator of Lollapalooza and creator of Save Life, will be speaking at ACM at UCO in a masterclass. Entry is free and the event will be taking place in the ACM Live Room. Well, that's all I have for today. Be sure to check in on Wednesday for this week's lineup of shows around OKC. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Tyler. And Aaron recaps the Masters coming up after this.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision. Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent.
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
In the land of wonder and awe, you won't believe you see what you saw. Where there's something to do for young and for old, where stories are written and then they're retold. Visit travelok.com today. Come see for yourself and come out to play.
Welcome back, Bronco fans. I'm Aaron Galvin, and this is your Monday Sports Update. The UCO softball team was dominant over the weekend, winning 4 games in blowout fashion on Saturday and Sunday. The Broncos pummeled Lincoln on Saturday and gave up no runs in either game while scoring a combined 22 of their own. Then the Broncos rolled over Central Missouri on Sunday, winning by a combined score of 18-2. The team faces more conference action coming up on Friday and Saturday as they will face off against Northeastern State and Rogers State. And both of those doubleheaders will be in Edmond. And some tragic news came out of the NFL this weekend as Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins was struck by a car on a highway in South Florida early on Saturday morning and was pronounced dead on scene. Haskins was in Florida training with some of his teammates and was walking on the highway when he was hit by a dump truck. Haskins was a star as a one-year starter at Ohio State in 2018 and finished 3rd in Heisman voting that year. Haskins was then a first-round pick by Washington and was entering his 2nd full year in Pittsburgh. Haskins would have turned 25 in May. And the NFL world expressed their condolences on social media, including Haskins' Ohio State teammates. And speaking of Ohio State, here's Ryan Day, who was Haskins' offensive coordinator in 2018 and is now the head coach of the Buckeyes, talking about Haskins' legacy in the Scarlet and Gray.
He was 11 years old walking through this facility and said that this is what I'm going to do, and then did it. I think that's the legacy that he's going to leave behind to so many other younger people across the country, not just in Buckeye Nation, is that you can set a dream and goal and go achieve it, and he did it.
Ohio State will pay tribute to Haskins in this weekend's spring game. And the 2022 Masters concluded yesterday afternoon at Augusta National as American Scotty Scheffler out of the state of Texas entered Sunday's final round with a 3-shot lead. And although there were some tense moments on the course, Scheffler was able to put a solid final round together and hold off a hard-charging Rory McIlroy to win the golf tournament. It was a solid tournament for Scheffler overall as he held the lead for the majority of the final 3 days. Scheffler won his first green jacket and continues his hot streak with a blazing start to 2020. But it wasn't always smooth sailing for Scheffler, and he had his moments of doubts. Here he talks about his mindset coming into the final round.
This morning I was so stressed out. I didn't know what to do. I was sitting there, I was telling Meredith, I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this. You know, I'm not ready. I don't feel like I'm ready for this kind of stuff. And I just felt overwhelmed.
That was a great Masters, very intense action.
It was. I was glued to the screen the entire Sunday. It was amazing.
I don't think I turned the TV off. Watching Tiger come back from what he came back from was also really impressive.
And he beat all the healthy guys too. Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka, all of them.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was definitely a fun Masters. We look forward to watching the next Masters. We actually have the next major coming up in May in Oklahoma.
In Tulsa.
Yeah, we'll have some updates on that later on in the show. But that's all the time we've got for sports. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us. We're going to go ahead and toss it to break. And on the other side, CJ will give us one last look at the weather.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to UCentral News, and it is tornado season here in Oklahoma, so we will definitely be keeping a very close eye on the weather, especially for this week going into tomorrow. Severe chance for storms is going to be pretty enhanced, but for right now, we're going to take a look at our 7-day forecast coming up here, and as you can see, going into tomorrow, that's where we're going to have the severe storms. It's only a 20% chance of rain, but with that 20% chance, the conditions will be right that if a storm were to develop, that it would turn into a severe storm. It would be very likely that it would produce damaging winds, hail, and even some tornadoes with those storms. So we will definitely be keeping a very close eye out on the weather tomorrow. However, going later into the week, as we can see, temps are going to steadily rise back up to what we're used to seeing here in Oklahoma. So Wednesday, 69, going to Thursday, 71. And then on the weekend, that's where we're going to see the warmth start to make its way back into Oklahoma. Friday sitting at 80 degrees, Saturday 75, and Sunday 71, respectively. So tomorrow, we are definitely going to be keeping a very close eye on those severe storms. If you have a plan in place, make sure that you know that plan. Make sure you have a safe place. Make sure that you know where your family is, where you're going to go if these storms were to turn severe, because it is definitely a very big possibility for tomorrow. That's all I have for weather right now. I'm going to toss it back to Jackson and Patrick at the desk.
Thanks, CJ. And like he said, we will keep you updated tomorrow as more updates come in. But just be careful, stay weather aware. Obviously, it could be very bad tomorrow, guys.
Right, and make sure you have a location to go to if the weather turns sour.
Yeah.
I know I have a place. I'm sure y'all two do as well.
Just keep it with UCentral Media. CJ is going to take care of everything.
Yeah,
that's absolutely right.
That's all the time we have today. I'm Patrick Talbot.
I'm Aaron Galvin.
And I'm Jackson Rowbottom.
Thanks for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow at 4:30 for another edition of UCentral News. Stay safe, Broncos.